Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramona, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with the Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am so fired up to have you join us today. We dedicated this podcast to exploring the idea of doing business and living life with a purpose, and that purpose being servant's heart, which you could truly make a difference, serving somebody daily, and I do it daily myself. It's the greatest thing you can do. We also created this show to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you to serve more. And while you listen to my guest today, it's going to be a good one. It's November, right before you know what's happening in the next month. He's actually doing this 24/7 all year. You can have this wonderful man in front of you. So I'm excited for you to listen to him. And I want you to think about today as your call to action. How are you going to serve yourself today? How are you going to serve others? And what impact you create today? That key word always is today. Like anything in life, I hear people, and I've done it. Oh man, I forgot to do that. It's been a month. I didn't start this. I didn't do this. Hey, with this today, it's so easy to do. You can call your best friend, say, I was thinking about you. You just impacted his life and served him. So go ahead and start that today. And today's episode is proudly sponsored by an incredible partner, Pantheon Alliance. Would you like to be part of an exclusive community of high-income, successful business owners and entrepreneurs from very, very diverse industries? Together, they're building a thought leader platform to impact and change the world. With that being said, impact and change, Christmas does that every year. December comes, people get excited, lights go up, Christmas trees go up, parties start happening, we start engaging. This year's going to be good because we're 4 years away from COVID. I believe there's going to be a lot more interaction and engagement with people. Well, how would you like to have Santa talking to you every day of the year? March, April, May, June. You get a message from Santa. Christmas is coming. Don't forget about those gifts. Well, my guest today does that and much, much more. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Steve. This has been so awesome. And I just got to piggyback on what you said about helping and surprising someone else with a simple phone call. I do a video every day where, like you, be happy, be positive. You get out of bed, you have a choice in the morning. You're going to be either grumpy and miserable or happy and cheerful and positive. I choose to be happy, cheerful, and positive because you create a lot more smiles and you create a lot more positive, joyful memories with that statement.
Amen. I love what you just said. Now, I learned something. There's a Santa school that you went to. What the heck is Santa school?
Santa school, believe it or not. Well, Steve, we all learn from someone that has more experience with us than we do. And when you admit that you don't know everything, you go to Santa school so you can learn from, some people that have been around for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years of portraying Santa. It's changed their lives like it has changed mine. And, there's Santas, as we well see in movies, in commercials. How do you even start to get into that? Well, you talk to these gentlemen that have that kind of experience, and they can cut down the red tape on, learning how to do things better. You learn from a pro, and that's what we all do every day, isn't it? When I wanted to come on to a podcast, you go to the best, right? So here I am with one of the best in the world, and you didn't learn everything on your first show. You learned from the mistakes that you made. You learned on how to speak to people and ask the right questions. And that's what we do with Santa School, and that's what we do with life. And, the simple statement is, Steve, we all hear it from everybody. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you're going backwards.
Yeah. What message did you learn, and what's the power of Santa that you got from the school?
The power of Santa is, you know, you got to have the heart, you got to have the ambition, and you got to be willing to listen to children of all ages. Because there are, last year I had a young lady that was 92 years old sitting on my knee. And of course, everybody in the room is giggling and laughing. But without those people included in the story, there is no story. I got her really giggling, Steve, because I turned around and looked at her and I said, okay, Grandma, we're time to get serious now. Do you remember what I brought you for your 7th Christmas? And of course, she looks at me and she said, Santa, I don't remember what I had for supper yesterday. You want me to remember what I had for you brought for my 7th Christmas? But the gist of that is Christmas is not just for children. There, people believe, people participate regardless of their age. And that's one of the big things I learned in Santa school is, make sure that you include everybody in the room and don't kick the elders and the seniors to the curb and concentrate on the children, because we all need to have Christmas in our hearts.
That's a great message. I didn't think you'd go that way. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. We're all children at heart. So you do messages, and you mentioned the videos, which are really cool. I actually watched one of them. What is your mission with this messaging year round? We've talked, it's like, Christmas, and I thought a little differently about it. I'm like, hey, it's interesting to get a message from Santa in July and August. What is your mission with doing that?
Well, if you hear this saying all the time, when you start a new business, business is about timing. Now, if I would have started this 5, 6, 7 years ago, I would have probably been laughed out of the room. But COVID has changed the way we do business, the way we talk to people. And there are still a lot of people so messed up in the brain cells, so messed up with their business thinking that, hey, we can still operate and run the way we did before COVID, when in fact, COVID changed the way we do business. And my message to people is the world's an ugly place out there right now. There are a lot of people that don't know which way to turn. So if I can talk to them and enjoy a conversation with them, I probably can make them smile. And there's a lot of people out there that don't even have a reason to smile nowadays. And we need more smiles in this world, Steve. The world is a beautiful place if you allow it to be beautiful. But if you're so messed up with business is going bad, life is going bad, family is not enjoying, customers are not coming back, then maybe you need to change a little bit of your mindset to believe that it can be a beautiful place again once I change my thinking. And it's in here. There's a lot of squawking out there of you have to do this, that, and everything else. But if you're not positive in your brain cell and you're not positive in your heart, you're not going to get very far.
Yeah, very well said. Messaging that you do through the year, what kind of messaging do you do? Who do you do it with? What does it look like?
Well, I create messages for businesses to help promote their business, to show that, they're, sorry, excuse me. They want to be positive. They want to be influenced. They want to create happiness for their clientele. And everybody loves Santa regardless of the time of the year. Now, some people have a little bit of hard time adjusting to it in March, April, May. And I had a few people asking, going, Santa, why are you out here in, March and April? And why are you promoting? Well, the simple reality is there's never enough time to think about Christmas. There's never enough time to plan different ideas and strategies. So if you start planting seeds, and that's what we do, Steve, in your wonderful podcast that you're doing, you're planting seeds for different people in the world to act and resolve and figure out what their problems is, what makes them happy, what makes them sad. Well, Santa does the same thing, and he likes to create happy memories for businesses and families. And when you do little things for businesses to create a happy, positive, generous mindset into a business person, it can change the way they do business just because now they're being happy about it and they're being cheerful.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a happy message, a loving message, empathetic message. It's powerful. What's one of the messages you sent out there that you really enjoyed that you did for a company?
Oh, that I did for a company. Let's see. Got to think on that one now. I've done a few.
Or pick one that you liked and that's top of your head.
Well, I'll tell you a little story. A lady called
Good.
me up, and it was a little bit of a different idea, but a lady she said she sent out Christmas cards every year, and I thought people love receiving stuff in the mail that's positive, and we don't get much positive mail in the mail anymore. She says, but I want you to do something for me. And I said, what are you thinking? She says, can you do a video up for me to show my clientele that you're speaking to my customers and my clientele that thank you from Santa for being a customer and a clientele. Because of her clientele and her customers, her and her husband were able to go on a trip to Jamaica to spend a week to rejuvenate, refresh, to get the new mindset on how they're going to take the next level of business to promote the positive memories and positive products that she's promoting to her customers and her clientele. And I went, that's pretty awesome. What are you thinking? Well, she says, you do a video. I'll put a QR code on the back of the card which says, hey, everybody, hit this QR code for a special message from my husband and myself. And I thought, you know what? That's such an awesome idea because that's bringing the personal touch back to business.
Yeah.
And we all know with all the automation, all the computerization that's happening, all the people are using AI for this, that, and everything else. They're not necessarily including the personal touch anymore in their business. And we know a lot of businesses started and exceeded and thrived because of the personal touch.
Mm-hmm.
So if you include the personal touch back again, maybe you'll even take that next step up in your business level.
Yeah, I'm thinking too, my mind's changing a little bit about this. You get something in July from Santa, it's unique and different because you're not expecting it. It's not
Right.
December, it's not November or even October when some of these stores start promoting Christmas, which is here and there. It's all marketing thing. Yeah, I like that. What is your, let me say it this way. What does your future look like as Santa Papa John?
Everybody keeps telling me I'm the proverbial snowball on the edge of the big hill because I am the Santa that thinks outside the gift box. And there's the power of networking. The funny story is it was Santa thinks outside the box. And one lady says to me, Santa, don't you give away gifts? I says, yeah, I give away gifts all the time. Well, don't you think outside the gift box? I said, there's my new terminology. People have to realize that the power of networking is unbelievable if you only listen to what other people are saying. You ask the mighty questions like you're doing today, and you get people thinking outside the box. And that's what I have done. I am up to 10 different videos that I can offer families and businesses to create a happy, joyful, positive memory. And, you know, this idea right here, my Are You Santa Approved? To give it some credibility, I had some marketing people one time say, you know, Santa, this is a brilliant idea. It's an interesting idea. Have you got it protected? And I said, come on now, I'm a truck driver. You better explain that in truck drivers' terminology. I said, have you got it trademarked? And I said, no, should I? And they said, this is an incredible idea. It's a positive idea. Yes, you should have. Well, I'm happy to say that I filed the paperwork for the trademark and I got my email here about 2 weeks ago that I own the trademark for my badge. Now, one of the ideas my son threw at me, it was rather interesting, was go after the toy manufacturers and say, do you want your toys Santa approved before you market them? And I'm going, you know, haven't done it yet, Steve, but the possibilities are there. That extra branding on a toy could take it a long way. It's just another unique idea that Santa has to help people and to help businesses. Now, I was talking to a lady that runs an electronics store the other day, and she says, man, wouldn't it be cool to have a great big poster on my front window that says, I'm Santa approved and I sell gifts that are Santa approved for your family? Some people might not understand what the concept is, but just to affiliate Santa with certain
Yeah,
businesses could open up the doors to a lot of potential. I'm
yeah,
not saying I'm the Santa of all things, but I keep coming up with these different ideas. More people keep throwing ideas at me. And that's the
that's
cool
great.
part about talking to people at networking events.
Networking community is huge, huge. It's really big. How do you go from truck driver to a Santa?
Well, when I met my new wife, I met her online because I was driving truck. And I was one of those insane truck drivers that fully understood the concept that the more you worked, the more you got paid. Well, I've done 3 million miles in a big truck, Steve. That's the equivalent of going around the equator 120 times. I've seen a lot of the United States, I've seen a lot of Canada, and it's created some wonderful memories. Well, the first time I met my new wife, I had this, and I sent her a picture that didn't have this. And she says, oh, you're Santa. And I says, no, I'm John. She said, no, you're not. You're Santa. So the short end of the story, Steve, is she hands me a handful of candy cane and she says, next time you're walking through a store and you hear some kids squawking, go talk to them. Now, come on, you know where I'm going with this, Steve. A typical male response is, here, little girl, you want some candy? I said, I'm going to go to freaking jail. And of course, we giggle and laugh, and we do a lot of giggling and laughing in our relationship, which is very important to a good
Beautiful.
relationship.
Mm.
She kicks me in the shin and she says, just do this, just try it. So I'm walking through, one of the big box stores one day, and I could hear these kids squawking, and I went, well, I guess I'm going to try it now. Well, I had a big black winter coat on. I had black pants on. I had black tennis shoes on. There was no red on me at all. And this thing was the only thing that was white. And then I walk around the corner and there's three little kids in the cart, wah, 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 like this to mom, right? Because they didn't want to be there and they didn't want to do this and they didn't want to do that. We've all seen it. We've all heard it. And I just went, hey, are you supposed to be acting that way? And I shut up. Well, they looked at me, they looked at mom, they looked at me, looked at mom. Their eyeballs went about this big and they went, Santa, what are you doing here? And I went, listening to some little kids wanting to be put on the naughty list. Well, their eyes were already this big. Now they go to about this big. And of course, mom is sitting there almost giggling because she can't believe what's happening. And I says, is she shopping here for you guys? Well, yeah. And I says, well, you're supposed to behave and, listen to mom a little bit. So then, of course, I had a little conversation with them and I talked to mom and I says, because you got to ask, can they have a candy cane? And she says, yes. So, of course, I said, now remember, I might walk around the corner tomorrow. So you're going to have to change your attitude a little bit and have fun when you're shopping with mom to help mom get through shopping a little bit quicker and easier. Okay, we will. So I gave him a candy cane and I said, okay, Santa's got to go talk to some more kids now. You guys be good because I don't want to come back here and put you on the naughty list. Well, of course, they said, of course, they will behave. So I walked around the corner and of course, mom follows me and she says, thank you, thank you, thank you. I think you just made shopping enjoyable for the rest of the season. And I said, you
Awesome.
know what? That changed my whole life and it's changed my world because my wife makes these amazing shirts for me, Steve. I dress like this all year round. So when I do walk into those box stores and the kids see me, yeah, I'm not wearing the hat, but they know who I am. And I go, shh, right? So, and then sometimes I will talk to them and say, even in July or May or whenever the time is, Santa might be walking around watching, getting intel to find out whether you're going to stay on the good or naughty list. And of course, the eyeballs get a little big and they look at mom or dad and they go, okay, I'll be good. So, you do a little bit to create
Yeah.
some happiness in this world. And back to my original statement, we need more happiness in this world.
Yeah. Amen to that. I love what you're doing. We've come to the end. Let's have some fun. We've had a ton of fun already. That's a great story, by the way. I will remember that and share that with others when I'm talking to them about you. Let's do the improv. Let's do Santa improv. So you're at a restaurant, you've got a table of four reserved, you
Yep.
got three chairs, you can invite anybody dead or alive to come to the restaurant to join you. Who would they be and what food would you order?
Holy moly. Santa's very versatile and he's been a DJ also for 40 years. So I'm
Wow.
well versed in the music industry as well. I've always thought it would be interesting to have a conversation with Janis Joplin.
Mm.
Unfortunately, she got into the wrong side of the industry that we know that took her life too well. But man, if she had been around for another 34 years or 30, 40, 50 years, whatever the case may be, how would have she changed the music industry? Um, my grandfather, I never had a grandfather growing up. He died 3 days after I was born. So I only had one grandmother my whole life, and she died now 25, 28 years ago. But he grew up through the era of the 20s and the 30s of going through the time in the world that was pretty lousy and how he was able to work hard and contribute to the family to get them through the ugliest time in our lifetime, I guess, in this world that we've seen in North America, and raised 7 children doing that, you know. And then the third one, wow, you're gonna make me think here. I've
Santa's allowed to think.
Yeah, I've never had this question to me, so it's been rather interesting. You're putting another perspective into Santa's repertoire that I hadn't
Yeah.
thought of. You know, let's go back to Burl Ives and Miracle on 34th Street and just how the brain cell activity came to create that persona that we all know and trust and like, and we've all seen the movie a million times. And the simple little acting cadences that he was able to interpret into that persona to make it such a realistic movie, even back in those days.
Iconic voice too. I just when you said
Yep,
that, the voice
yep,
pops up right away.
absolutely, absolutely. And of
What would
course,
you eat?
what would we eat? Huh? I'm a big spaghetti fan, so either a spaghetti or a nice steak.
Oh, okay. You're gonna have to invite me. That sounds good. And before we forget, before we close out here, you've launched a website for vets. Spend a
Yes,
few, a minute or two talking about that.
the Warriors Beacon of Hope. In all the conversations that I've had in the last little while of talking to many, many different people and many, many veterans, I hear the sad story all the time, Steve, of, well, the VA is helping me out, but I have to wait 6, 8, 10 months for services or whatever that number may be. And the quick story on how this seed got planted, I do a lot of stuff on TikTok. I met a young soldier last year and he says, "Can we have a conversation?" I said, "Of course we can." He says, "Can you make me a video so I can show it to my family?" And I says, "Absolutely. What are you thinking?" He says, "I can't tell them I love them. I'm
Mm.
screwed up in my brain cells from 25 years old, Steve, and he had done 4 tours and had signed up to his 5th one already." And I said to him, "I'd love to, I'd be honored." So I made him a video. I made his family cry, but more importantly, I got the message across to his family that he was still that young man loving his family, but he couldn't say it. And I said, "When was the last time you got in to see a psych?" "I'm on the list, but it's 5 months out and I'm going to be deployed in 3." You know, the soldiers, our veterans, didn't hesitate to sign on the dotted line to go defend our country. Why do they get treated like second grade citizens when they come back here and be put on the waiting list? So, my idea is to create a comprehensive list of services available throughout the country so that when Bob lives in Seattle and he relies on 3 different services a week, he's going to St. Louis for a week for vacation, and now he runs into trouble and he needs some services in St. Louis. Where does he go to look? Where does he go to find the services that he may need?
Yeah.
So I'm creating this list to help our veterans. I am not a veteran. My wife's brother in law is a veteran, service dog, PTSD, very bad. And one of the stories that he tells me, Steve, is he goes to his psychologist and he had some clearances because he was in the communications department in the military when he was in there. And he goes to his psychologist and something triggered him because we all know there's the trigger factor and he wants to talk, but oh wait, he can't talk to his psychologist about this because his psychologist doesn't have clearance.
Hmm.
Not a good
Wow.
scenario to be. So I'm on a mission to create a list to help our veterans, and we all love our veterans because they've given us the freedom to do what we are loving to do, Steve. And it's all over the world, that there are veterans all over the world in all different countries. And I'm hearing the same thing in like Canada, UK, Australia. So I don't know where the list is going to go, but if I can get the word out to help people, help our veterans find services that they need other than waiting 6, 8, 10 months, then I'm going to be a happy camper.
Yeah. It's a great mission, great project. How can people reach out to you, connect with you?
SantaPapaJohn.com. Brand new website that was launched 3 weeks ago. Very excited about. There's a lot of information on there. The Warrior website is can't forget, the Warriors Beacon of Hope. There's an email on there as well, but santapapajohn.com. I'll be more than happy to answer questions. And Steve, yes, you said I do this year round. I do it 24/7 year round worldwide because people in all countries need to be more happy.
Well, I'd love to see you in Europe someday. Send me pictures. In the audience, if you can help him spread the word of Santa, he can make people smile anywhere in the world. He is definitely global in one factor or another, and I love that. Thank you. This is a blessing. What you do is a blessing. It comes from your heart. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And you know, that's one of the other parts of being a true Santa persona is you got to have the heart to talk to, listen to, interact with people of all ages.
Love it. And here's a call to action for your audience. If this resonated with you and you've got somebody who would love to meet Santa, maybe it's your kids, maybe it's a friend of kids, or maybe it's a kids of community, a children's hot, whatever it may be, take this, subscribe to the YouTube channel, take the link and share it with people. Hey, I just met Santa Papa John on this podcast. He sounds really cool. Well, people can listen to it and see if it's a fit for them, and then reach out to John and go ahead and set things up. It's a powerful way to serve others. I believe a podcast link is a gift when it fits people and it hits their heart and their passion. So go ahead and do that. And the other thing is comment on the YouTube channel. If it's for John, I will get him the comments. If you need his contact info, it'll be in the show notes, or I can get it to you as well if you want to comment on the YouTube channel. As always, me and Santa Papa John, I'm his elf, say we thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. As they say in Christmas, we'll see you on the day when he comes down the chimney. Have a great day, everybody.